everybody.
Hi,
Welcome to
everybody.
Thinks We Hate It. I'm Mickey Atkins.
I'm Hannah Lehman.
And this is
And you're here
episode
with us. 12.
12.
12.
Yay!
I'm so excited that you guys came to join us today.
Me too.
We have a juicy episode for you.
Oh boy, do we.
You guys should all grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea,
Yes.
grab some alcohol, whatever you want to drink.
No
And
judgment.
cozy up or sunbathe wherever you are in the world, whatever the weather is.
Some lizard
And
time.
get listening. So how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. All I can think about, I'm going to the beach next weekend. And by the time this comes out, oh no, that will be, I won't say which beach.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I'm going on a little vacation for a few nights.
Nice.
And Winnie's barking right on cue. And I'm meeting a bunch of friends. It's like a group of 9 of us are going. And I'm just...
Wow, that's a lot of people, Hannah.
so
God.
excited. I'm so excited. Yeah. And it's like all I could think about. Like I'm still working away.
Yeah.
You'd be so proud of me. I filmed 3 videos in a row the other day, which as you know, I am not the queen of batch filming.
No, you're really not. Wow.
So,
look at you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I am like
Damn.
getting stuff done. It's just that, you know, when you're excited for something, your head is there
yes.
all the time.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah, and you, like,
my head
can't
is at
focus.
the beach. Yes.
That's fair.
My head's at the beach. My body is here. So
Fair enough.
it's gonna be fun. And how else am I doing? I bought stupidest update ever.
What?
I bought a water flosser. I don't know why I really wanted to share that, but I don't know if you've ever tried a water flosser before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God. Has your life been changed?
Yes. Like I'm a good flosser. I floss my teeth almost every single night. Like I'm very adamant about flossing. Sometimes I miss a few days, but like I am very into my oral hygiene. So now I can floss and use my water flosser, and it's like my teeth have never been so clean.
What? You're flossing regularly and using a water pick. That's wild.
Maybe not every night, but maybe double up when I want my breath to smell extra good.
I love that for you. The reason that we have a water pick is because, well, first of all, Erin and I both have permanent retainers because we had braces when we were kids.
Me too.
And so if you know, you know, trying to floss between a permanent retainer sucks. But also because the water flosser is just easier for me to use, as opposed to like regular floss. Although I will say I have started using floss picks, like the little plasticky things, which I can't
stand those.
I know they're bad for the environment. Leave me alone. I have ADHD and I'm terrible at remembering things. And so if I have single-use
I'm
products,
not concerned about that.
Not you, but
regular
just, like,
dental
generally.
floss. I know other people. Regular dental floss is bad for the environment too.
It is. Yes.
But I can't stand those. They always like get loose and then I can't make them work. I always like stab myself in the gums somehow with them. But yeah, I understand. Yeah. You know, do what you got to do. Do what works.
That's what I'm saying. One of the things that changed my life was buying single-use or like single-day contact lenses because I used to leave them in. Hannah, don't fucking judge me in the comments. Don't fucking come for me. I used to leave my contact lenses in for months at a time. I would just not take them out.
Without taking them out?
I would just go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up. I have
the most ADHD thing I've ever heard.
I was like, I don't need to get LASIK. It's basically like I have LASIK. For the record, don't fucking do that. It is so dangerous. You can suffocate your eyeballs. You can hurt your cornea. You can get wicked infections. It is literally
infections.
Yes, it is literally an act of God that I didn't have anything bad happen to me because I did that for a long time.
I didn't even know you needed glasses.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you wore contacts.
I am like so visually impaired. Like it's real bad.
I've spent several days in a row with you and I have never
because I also prefer wearing contacts. I really don't like glasses. They're very disorienting to me. I'll wear them every now and again if my eyes need a break, but generally speaking, I prefer contacts. But I eventually got to a place my eye doctor was like, you can't keep doing this. Like, this is so dangerous. And so they were like, do you want to try dailies? And I was like, I don't know. And I talked to Erin about it, and he was like, who gives a fuck if it's bad for the environment, Mickey? Like, just do it. Because, like,
losing your eyesight.
Yes. Yeah. He was like, the other option is like endangering your eyeballs. And so I was like, okay, fine. Yes. But I tried that and it's life changing. Now I just buy a year's worth of dailies once a year, which is a lot of contacts and it is a little bit expensive, but for real,
have a question.
What?
Why is it easier for you to change them daily?
Yeah.
Like, why can you suddenly change them daily when they're disposable, but the problem was that you couldn't do that with the non-disposable?
The problem is that the way that my ADHD brain works is the bulk of my issue that I have with my ADHD is task organization. So when you, like, if you wake up in the morning and you have, like, roughly speaking, a to-do list in your head, right? You know that you have, like, 5 to 8 things that you need to accomplish, right? To me, what happens is that all those 5 to 8 things all have sub steps or like sub tasks that need to get accomplished before you can do that. And so I have a really hard time organizing all of that in my brain to make the most logical sense. And so especially if, like, for example, this shows up a lot when I clean my house. If I know that I need to clean the toilets, put the dishes away, clean the floors, and like do laundry, I will get very, very frustrated with trying to organize those tasks in a chronological way that makes the most sense and that doesn't require me to traipse back and forth across the house. But if there are subtasks, like I've talked about this on my channel before, but like for doing laundry, if I have to take the lint out of the lint trap before I put stuff in the dryer, that's very overwhelming to me. Because now it's like an extra task that I'm like, ugh, like I have to take the lint out of here. But then it's not just taking the lint out of there. I have to take the lint out. I have to take it off the screen. And then I have to put the lint in the trash can, which requires me to walk across the thing, to put the thing in the trash can, and then to come back, and then to put the lint screen back in. And then, but also too, by the time that I've walked across the house to throw the lint away, then like I just saw a stray piece of paper that needs to go in the trash can and the dogs need to go outside, and I just remembered that I haven't peed in 8 hours, and then the laundry doesn't get done. So like it's very overwhelming to me. So the problem that I had with contact lenses was that if at the end of the day I have to take them out, grab my contact solution, put them in the thing, make sure that they're in the correct like left and right eye because I have different prescriptions for both eyes, close them up, put the contact solution away, and then go to bed, it's not happening. It's too overwhelming. Because also I can't remember to do that and change my clothes, brush my teeth, wash my face, take the dogs to go to the bathroom, take all the pillows off the bed, turn the lights off, turn the fan on. It's all too much. So overwhelming to my poor little brain.
So the dailies, you just have to take them out and throw them away then.
Yep. There's one task. Just take them out and throw them in the trash can, and that's it. Isn't that funny?
It is, and it's so interesting because you've just assured me 100% that I do not have ADHD.
To be fair, everybody's ADHD does look different.
I know. My brain's a little chaotic, like but like I know a lot of people with ADHD watch videos on YouTube like about like your videos on how to help yourself. Winnie will not stop licking my hands. I don't know if you can see this, but she's like, it's really like I'm letting her, but it's giving me the major ick.
Yeah, that's the worst.
So slimy, but I let her because she loves me so freaking much. And I have watched, like, I've been really curious to know like what it's like to have ADHD. Yeah, because I have people in my family with it and everything. So I will watch those like simulation videos that people make, like what my brain feels like in the morning when I have ADHD. Yes, and it's so interesting because what you described, I know it's different for everybody, but it has themes, right? Because the simulation I watched was a person going down to be like, okay, I need to eat breakfast. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
The dishwasher's full. There's no dishes to eat breakfast with.
Yes.
Opens the dishwasher, but sees something on the fridge, a note to yourself on the fridge, so completely forgets the dishwasher. And before you know it, it's 45 minutes later. You have a whole list of things that you told your brain you need to do, but you haven't eaten.
Yes.
And literally you need to fucking eat breakfast.
Yes.
And you can't do it. Mm-hmm. And that is so... Like, I do get, like, just, like, I do that thing where, like, if I see something on the way to doing something else, I will sometimes start a different task. Yeah. But organizing tasks for me is not, I will. So nice. I know. I can focus on, like, if I need to eat, I'll, like, if I start to get distracted, my brain has the ability to stop myself and be like, eat first and do this, you know? And
that's wild.
Yeah. To me. And it's so interesting that I love knowing stuff like that. I love knowing what it's like to feel like that, you know, because it's like I don't suffer from depression, but I have had real depression when something has actually happened.
Yeah, like depressive episodes.
Yes, like my health depression was a big one. Like that was as bad as it's ever gotten. And it's like then I'm able to say like to myself, I'm like, when I'm out of it, I'm like, there's people that feel like this all the time. You know, it makes me so empathetic for, and so, but I can't do that with ADHD. Like, you don't get, you know what I mean?
No, Isn't it funny though, how all of our brains, like we're all living our own very unique experiences inside of our little heads. Isn't that cool?
So bananas. I think it's neat.
I love it.
It is really cool. And then you've heard of people, like there's this thing that's come out recently, like it's been a trending topic in the past couple of years of people that don't have an internal monologue.
Which like is wild to me.
I don't know if I do or not, but I must because I talk to like you're talking. That's like your internal monologue is talking to yourself in your brain, right? Like saying, I need to do this, don't do that. And some people are saying they literally don't have that. Is that what?
Yeah. Which is
I want to know what that's like.
But also, too, that sounds so peaceful. Like, my inner monologue never shuts the fuck up. And I would just like for her to fucking can it for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
It would be so nice. But then just have some fucking peace and quiet.
But I don't know if it is peace and quiet. I think because they're still having thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's like, are the thoughts in picture form instead of...
I don't know. Well, that's also a thing that some people can't picture things in their mind. Like for some people, actually trying to draw up a picture of what something looks like is not a thing that you can do, which is crazy to me. Like how?
It's like
why?
Or like I bet there's people that can't imagine somebody's voice. Like if I'm thinking about you or something you said, it's like your voice in my head. Like I could hear you say it or my mom say it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if people have that where they like cannot visualize that stuff. Brains are so weird.
I know.
You'll never.
I love them.
Like I took that I did take a neurodiversity class in college, but I also took a neuroscience class in my psychology degree. Yeah. And it was the hardest class of all time, but it was the most fascinating class I've ever taken in my life.
Yeah. It's cool.
The average person has no idea how complex the brain is.
Yes.
It's actually just
bananas.
Wild. Yeah.
All right.
Anywho's.
Do we want to get into this week's episode?
Let's get into it. I think Mickey's starting us off today. I'm really, really excited to hear about this, even though like I know you're stressed. So I don't stressed. I'm sad that you're stressed, but I'm also really excited because I don't know barely anything about this and I know I should be paying more attention. But I would love to know, like, I'm very curious to know how this is affecting you directly so much. Yeah. So please take it away.
So I am talking today about generally all of the strikes going on, but specifically because when we're recording this, very recently, SAG-AFTRA, which is the union for actors in Hollywood, that union declared a strike on, I think it's AMPTP, which is like so AMPTP is like this alliance of studios for like most of the mainstream like movies and like media that we consume. So that's like Warner Brothers Studios, Sony Pictures, Paramount, also underneath Disney, obviously. Also underneath there are like Netflix and Hulu and like all of the major streaming platforms and all of that stuff. And so those people are the ones obviously who pay actors, set people, producers, all of the people that are required to turn, you know, like an idea into a fucking movie or a TV series or whatever, right? So AMPTP has not been paying actors and all of the other people a fair wage and like negotiating their contracts with them. So most people, I think, are probably aware that the Writers Guild is on strike also. That happened a little while ago.
That one I was aware of.
Yeah. Well, and I think for a lot of people, that one's like easier to wrap our heads around because like I think it was 2008 was the last Writers Guild strike. And that was when we had this big burst in reality TV because there were no writers to write shows. So all of the networks and the studios.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, to try and deal with the strike and continue to line their pockets, the studios just pivoted into making a lot of reality TV. So that's why we have so much of that content now. But it's notable that WGA and SAG-AFTRA are striking at the same time because this is the first time that this has happened in a very long time. So what's happening, basically, if you're not aware, also, did you know that Fran Drescher from The Nanny. Do you remember that show, The Nanny? She is the president of the SAG-AFTRA union. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Though. I've always loved her. She's a queen.
She is such a passionate and empowered speaker. Yeah. She gave a speech after the union declared their strike, and she is so inspiring. She could rally me to like start punching people on the street if she wanted to. Like, I love her so much. So generally speaking, what's going on then is that the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild, both of those unions are on strike at the same time, meaning that for AMPTP, which is the big alliance of all the major studios, they are having a time. That means basically that everything has ground to a halt. So there's no more production on like all of our favorite shows and movies and stuff that was supposed to come out. Stranger Things 4 is getting postponed. The Last of Us is getting postponed until like 2025, I think, or 2026, they said.
I think it's Stranger Things 5. I think 4 came out already.
Oh, thank you.
No, I don't care, but somebody will correct you and be mad about it in the comments.
No, so that's true. I feel like there's so many of them, it's hard to keep track.
I'm so sad. The one I'm sad about is Yellow Jackets. I just finished the second season of Yellow Jackets, and I've
seen a lot of people upset about that too.
With that, I'm so just selfishly. Okay, sorry. Before you continue, so the SAG, so that's like literally the actors, like the A-list actors in Hollywood, like Jennifer Lawrence,
sort
is
of
like part of this protest.
Yes,
or it's the extras and like.
So it's everybody. So anybody who has ever the thing about SAG that's important to remember is that it does encompass big A-list celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence and, I don't know, like Robert Downey Jr. or, I don't know. Yeah. I'm bad with celebrities, but like, those people, right?
Yeah.
But it also is a union for all of the other actors who are doing small work, that are doing like little roles and all of this other stuff, right? So SAG-AFTRA has a membership of like 160,000 people, the vast majority of which are like working class people who are just trying to pay their bills. They like, obviously the big name celebrities showing up and like being on the picket line and posting about it on social media is important to help draw awareness for the thing. But the strike didn't happen because Jennifer Lawrence was like, I want to make $6 million more every time I make a movie. They're doing this because there's a lot of things that the union has tried to get AMPTP to negotiate on over the last couple of years that the studios just basically said like, double fuck you. I'm not doing anything. Stuff like you should stop paying the actors weeks and weeks like late or like later than you said that you would. And like we want our residuals to be more than like 0 cents per episode and 20 cents per episode and like all of this stuff. Do you know who Kimiko Glenn?
All very reasonable things.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know who Kimiko Glenn is? Mm-mm. She's an actress. She was in Orange is the New Black, but she's been posting a lot on social media about her residuals and showing people the actual breakdown. And like for several episodes, she gets paid like $0.00 or like some actors get a negative balance on their residuals for those episodes getting played. I don't even know how that's possible. Yeah, so that's happening to like regular ass working class people. And so that's why the strike was called.
I did hear too that they are also trying to implement, this is like down the road, and I don't think this is the same issue, but it's a separate similar issue. They're also trying to implement actors, an AI version of actors, of the background actors and stuff, and having them sign off on their image to be used for forever.
Yes. Yeah. And so
that is some, I don't know if you watch Black Mirror, but that is some real Black Mirror shit right there. There's an episode devoted to, do you watch Black Mirror?
I have seen, I think, like 2 episodes. It scares me. It does the thing that horror movies do to me, where it's like too much. Same thing with The Handmaid's Tale, where it's like, dude, it's too real. I don't want to watch it.
You know what I do for a living on my main channel, and some episodes of Black Mirror legitimately creep me out. I still have. There's one episode I cannot watch ever again because it scared me so much. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But this episode that came out, like, literally the episode is about how this girl, when she signed up for her Netflix account, she didn't realize it's not Netflix, it's Streamberry on the show, but it's a spoof of Netflix.
Yeah.
She didn't realize that she signed off in the terms of service that they have the right to make AI versions of her for other shows.
Ew.
And it was like, because nobody reads hundreds of pages of terms of service, and you're signing off on your own identity. Like, very much like that. Okay.
Yeah, so that was another big thing too, is that like background actors and other like small people on set are just getting shit on. And so SAG-AFTRA was like, fuck you. You can't do that anymore. We don't want to do that. So they met with the big alliance of studios and tried to negotiate some stuff. They have actually, SAG has released a document outlining what the studio's responses were to some of their asks, and it's so fucking upsetting. A lot of the stuff that they were negotiating was like not a tall order, like it's really not a big ask, and the studios just outright rejected like most of what SAG asked for. Yeah, it sucks. So if I can find it, I will link it in the description for the video so that you guys can see it. But it sucks. It's just very much the like capitalism doing the thing that capitalism does, you know, like trying to disenfranchise the working class while making money off of their backs, and it just like sucks, you know? So SAG-AFTRA and WGA are striking at the same time. Also notably is that UPS might be going on strike soon. Yeah,
that would suck.
Yes, that is a big deal. There also is like rumors that, I can't remember the acronym for Broadway, the Broadway Union, but they might also be striking because there's like a difference in the types of contracts. It's all very messy and confusing. But generally speaking, entertainment as we know it has kind of skidded to a halt because no new stuff is being made. So the reason that this affects influencers, and namely me, the reason that I'm stressed about it is because what's happening already, it's literally only been a couple of days. What's already happening is that because SAG declared this strike, it means that actors, any union actor, is like forbidden from obviously acting, taking new gigs, doing that kind of stuff. It encompasses a whole bunch of different types of media, like any like motion capture stuff and actual acting and puppeteering, just like all of the things, right? But also they're forbidden from doing promotion for any projects that have already been completed. They're forbidden from like doing certain types of auditions and stuff, like auditioning for new productions and like basically anything that's related to the production of media for these studios, you're not allowed to do. You look confused.
I'm a little confused.
Okay,
sorry.
Why? What's going on?
Yeah. So the actors, based on the rules that are in place now, or based on, okay. Because, wait, but they are a union, right?
Yes.
The Screen Actors Guild is a union already.
Yes.
And they're asking for things, but they can go on strike more easily because they're a union.
Yes.
That's my understanding, is that like that's what unions are for, so that workers can protect each other and they have an organization to fight back when something is unethical. So, but the way it is now, they're not like, say Joey Smith is a waiter, but he's also extra on The Walking Dead or whatever.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to do all these things that you're saying. He's not allowed to work.
Yeah.
But why? I don't get why why the production companies are saying they can't do these things.
The production company's not. It's the union that's saying you're not allowed to work, basically. So the way that
okay. I got it mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah, the way that this works basically is that the union has declared a strike, meaning we are holding our labor hostage because you, the studios, are refusing to negotiate with us about giving us a fair contract and fair wages.
Right.
We're not working for you anymore, so you can eat our ass.
Okay.
Good luck making a movie when you have no fucking actors. The reason that this is so important is because SAG has obviously a lot of people in the union, and so when they declared this strike,
they're not going to work.
Yes.
They're not showing up. Just like a strike at another company or at fast food companies. They're just straight up nobody's showing up. They're all banding together and not showing up. And the union is saying don't do this, this, or this as part of the strike.
Well, yes. So the reason that people are not showing up to work or working is because the union declared a strike. If you so what happens when a strike
I'm so sorry, you guys. No, everybody probably thinks I'm so stupid for not getting
to be fair, unions are like not a thing that a lot of us have familiarity with because they have been largely squashed by capitalism and large corporations. So it's a fair question. But if you want to continue to be a union member, so like if you're a member of SAG now, even if you're a small actor, right, and you want to continue to be a union member and reap the benefits of being in a union, you can't do any of the things that SAG says that you're not allowed to do right now, which includes most forms of work. The reason that this is important is because when people cross a picket line as union members or as non-union members, it undermines the strike, right? If the studios are able to manipulate either union members or non-union members into working for them and they continue to make money during the strike, then the strike is useless. The strike means nothing. It undermines the purpose of it. And we're not going to get any meaningful resolution for a lot longer because the studio's like, why would I negotiate with you when I can get these people to do the things that you're not doing, right?
It only works if everybody protests.
Yes, this is why crossing a picket line sucks.
So Jennifer Lawrence, for again, just as an example, because everybody knows who she is. If I think she probably is a SAG member, but okay, so she's in SAG. So if she wants to stay in the union, she is not allowed to work right now. She's not allowed to accept jobs, go to work because. But if she does, she technically could, but she would lose her union benefits and lose being part. She would not be part of SAG anymore.
So yes, but also the union can fine you for crossing the picket line if you're a union member. So not only is it a shitty thing to do.
I don't blame them for that, but yeah, it would just be shitty to do.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing to do. It's like not an integrity move. But also what will happen is because the union basically controls the means of production, sort of. The union is like the stronghold for all of the major actors. Like anybody who's anybody is in SAG if you're an actor, right? They will also blackball you from joining the union. So if Jennifer Lawrence crossed the picket line right now and took on a new job for a production that's being put on by AMPTP, she would get blackballed from the union. She'd get kicked out and blackballed from joining in the future, meaning that she has no union protection. She has no right. Which is
so they're motivated to follow the strike too.
It's a really big deal to cross a picket line, especially if you're a union member. Because again, it's a shitty fucking thing to do, but also because they're like actual real life consequences for doing that. So the reason that this affects influencers, people like you and me, is because SAG-AFTRA released a lot of frequently asked question lists to sort of outline like what are the limitations, what are you allowed to do, what are you not allowed to do for union members, but also for non-union members and for influencers specifically. Because what's happening right now is that studios, knowing that they can't hire union actors, are reaching out to influencers and offering them ungodly fucking amounts of money to fill the gap that has been left by the union being on strike. And some influencers are actually taking the money, which is so fucked
Why did I think
up.
of James Charles immediately? That was my first thought, is that James Charles probably went.
So there is a term, it's a very old term, it dates back to like the 1800s. There's a a label for people who cross picket lines. You get called a scab, or it's called scabbing, which is a
you
terrible
kind of deserve
name.
it though.
Yes. And so what's happening right now is that some influencers are actually taking the money that studios are offering, but
to go be actors though.
Yes. Well, and also to
With
promote
no acting experience.
Well, and to promote projects that don't have any promoters anymore, because like the Barbie movie, for example, I am so fucking mad because you know, I am obsessed.
We were really excited about the Barbie movie.
And I was planning on talking about it here and making a main channel video about it because I think it's just such an important conversation about like this turning point in culture and feminism and like queer identity, just all the things, right? But I'm not making that video anymore because technically that would be considered promotional material for that production. And I have no interest in being an actor. I don't want to join any of the unions at any point. It wouldn't affect me to get blackballed, but that sucks. That's a shitty fucking thing to do. And also just as a vehement anti-capitalist, miss me with that. But yeah, the reason that this is noteworthy is because there is kind of a gray area with media commentary and criticism and critique and stuff, because I was reading a Variety write-up and movie critics aren't on strike. So movie critics, in theory, I don't know what SAG's official position is. I literally emailed them to ask, but SAG's official position on this, we don't really know what it is, but movie critics right now, I think, are continuing to do their job, which is, critique movies, right? But it's unclear what category that would fall under for influencers who make media commentary like myself. Because making a video about the Barbie movie and talking about how much I love it and how excited I am, that's very much promo for that movie, right? And SAG was very clear. They released this FAQ saying not only are we discouraging influencers from taking paid deals with these studios, but it doesn't matter if the content is paid or not. We're asking that influencers just not promote any of these projects generally. Oh. Even if it's organic, even if it's as a fan, because it still serves the purpose of doing the thing that actors would normally do.
Good thing that podcast episode that we made, because we made a whole podcast episode talking about this movie, and it happened to not, maybe that was fate.
I think it was. We would have had to do something.
Mickey wasn't recording and we had to redo. And we decided not to do it. So,
but the other thing that's important to note, though, is that as consumers, we're not supposed to be boycotting anything.
Right.
I'm going to put a link in the description for the SAG-AFTRA on strike FAQs in case you guys have questions about it. But they're not calling for a consumer boycott right now. The brief for us as just consumers of media is not to go out. Don't cancel your subscriptions for stuff. Don't avoid going to see stuff. From my understanding, some of the people that I follow on TikTok have been talking about how part of the rejection that studios have offered for why we can't pay an appropriate amount for residuals is because streaming is so volatile. What if people cancel their memberships, and then what if it would bankrupt us to pay you appropriate residuals, blah blah blah. So people canceling their memberships and stuff might actually just further support
their
that
agenda,
that shitty argument, which is not true. But so we're not supposed to be boycotting media. I am still gonna go see the Barbie movie because I am obsessed with it. But the frustrating thing is that there are some influencers who are taking that money and the word for it is scabbing, and just promoting this stuff and doing all of this stuff that you're really not supposed to be, which
Do you
undermines
know of any influencers that are doing it?
Yes, but I don't know if I want to name them, because also for what it's worth,
I just feel isn't it public information?
Yes, but in fairness, one of the other things that is in this long document about what's allowed and what's not allowed right now is that anyone who has already signed a contract and is contractually obligated to complete something is not necessarily obligated to stop working on that. So it's confusing, and I don't particularly understand, but for example, some of the influencers that I've seen, I don't know what the status of their contractual obligation is to complete a thing that they agreed to promote.
If they're stuck and they didn't know.
Yeah. Because also I think you and I are both very familiar with what it's like to end up in a situation.
Right.
Yeah. Where contractually you're obligated.
Crap. Right.
Yeah, and like maybe it's not the choice that you would have made, but you signed the contract, and so you're doing it now, you know? Yeah, so it's just a
so it's
stressful
affecting you because
time.
now it's like affecting the content you can and can't make.
Yes. Well, and because also too, like I don't want to step over like a literal and figurative line in accidentally promoting material that like it would undermine the strike, you know, but like a lot of the content that I make on my channel is talking about the misrepresentations of therapy and mental health in media. Like I had a live stream planned for this month to talk about the queer ultimatum because people have been demanding that I make it. My patrons voted for it. And now I'm like, I don't know, like, does that count? Because like,
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I'm a very critical person of Netflix and like their institution, but also I think it is disingenuous to say that me talking about it doesn't bring attention to the media or potentially encourage people to watch it, right? But then also on the other hand, me streaming it for like a couple hundred people to watch all together is the antithesis to what Netflix wants, right? With their password sharing bullshit or whatever. So I'm like,
they don't
I don't know.
That, right.
Like it fucking could be either. That's why I emailed SAG and I was like, listen, I just sent them a very professional email being like, hi, like I want to support your cause. I want to like stand in solidarity with this, but I'm just not sure about like what this means. Like, does this type of content constitute promo? Like it's not being paid. Like I would never take money from a studio, but I don't know if this would cross that line. And so now I'm kind of at a standstill. Well, I don't know. And I'm so stressed about it.
Old, or is that a show that's like, are you watching new episodes of that show?
No. It would be the old stuff because I think there's only one season of it still.
Older stuff. I don't see why. I might be wrong, but I'm just confused. I don't know why that would matter if nobody's going to make money off of it that they already made. Like if they already made it, like if it was made in the past when there wasn't a writer's strike, I don't see why that particular show would be an issue for you to, I mean, quote, like, unquote, I guess just because you're promoting Netflix then.
Yeah.
I guess, but like,
I don't know. Well, and also too,
I don't know if you're going to hear back from SAG because they're probably getting thousands of emails
I know.
a day.
Well, and they have like a specific email address for like influencer questions.
Oh, good. Okay. Good.
And like that's their direction on their website is that if you need clarification, email us. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. So maybe they'll,
But that's the problem that I'm having is that like I'm out of my depth here, right? Like I don't know shit all about Hollywood. I don't know anything about being an actor. Live
streams like that.
Yes. Yeah. And I also really love them. Like I really appreciate getting to make that
like
content.
Love is Blind things and everything. And it's like what happens when... How long is this going to go for?
I have like, a feeling this is going to be for a long haul too, which sucks.
Yeah. My issues with it are 1000% selfish because I'm just so sad about shows that I'm so excited for.
Same.
That I've always looking forward to new seasons. Like I said, I just finished the second season of Yellow Jackets the other day. I am so obsessed with it. It's one of the best shows, I think, at least horror shows that have been made in a very long time. In my opinion, it's so well done. And I immediately looked up when season 3 is coming out and they were like, well, we think 2024, but since the strikes, now we're thinking late 2024, like almost 2025, if that, you know? And it's just like...
Yeah. It's
really, I know it's selfish. I know first world problems, but it's like,
I think it's valid though. And also too,
our entertainment is a huge part, at least of American culture.
Yeah. And also too, I think it's probably hitting people a little bit more personally because we just got through all of the production delays from COVID and all of the quarantine shutdowns and everything. And so like
we were
just
like, finally.
Yeah, for real. Like, fuck you, AMPTP, for not negotiating with SAG because, like, God damn it. Like, we were so close to just having, like, a small period of somewhat normalcy, you know?
It infuriates me that those production companies that are making so much money cannot give their employees, I mean, the actors are their employees essentially.
Yes.
They're the people that make them money and they won't give them what they're it's just like incredible to me. That's incredible to me.
Yes. The thing that makes
they act like they don't owe them anything.
Yes. The thing that makes me especially angry is that it wasn't even like, oh, we can't do that, but we can offer you this. It was just outright like, no. Like, just complete rejection. We are refusing to budge on, like, a bunch of the stuff that SAG was trying to negotiate about. And so it's just really fucking irritating to me that, like, did you see the comments that Bob Iger made, the CEO of Disney? I'm going to look them up right now so I can quote them accurately, but he is getting just dragged right now in the media because he's one of the only CEOs who like actually publicly made a comment about it, and it's not going well for him. Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney, appeared on a show, CNBC's Squawk Box. I literally have no idea what that is.
That sounds cringe.
Yes, but one of the comments that he made was that the writers and actors are not being realistic with their expectations. And he said, it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on the business and all the challenges we're facing. The recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption.
As if it's the actor and writer's fault.
Yes. Yeah.
As
like,
if it's not.
How dare you disrupt me by wanting a livable wage?
Making millions of dollars. Yeah.
Like, what a bitch. Like, for real, what is wrong with people?
My first thought of that is easy for you to say, Bobby.
Yes.
Like, you have no idea what it's like to be a small actor. And I'm so sick of this. It sounds very much like that pull them up by their bootstraps mentality where, like, the A-list actors that are making millions, they're fine because... they're that 1% of actors. Like you said, there's thousands of people in this guild. And it feels very much of the like, well, if they want to be paid more, they need to work harder to make it bigger in Hollywood. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's giving me that kind of vibe of like, well, it's not our fault you're not making a lot of money.
Yes.
You need to get better roles. And to do that, you need to work harder, blah, 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 blah. As if actors, you know, as if Jennifer Lawrence, and I don't know why I keep using her as an example, but just she's the first celebrity that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's valid.
Maybe because I was watching her Hot Ones interview the other day.
Yes, her Hot Ones interview is so funny.
See, I love her. What? Now I lost my train.
Oh, sorry. You were saying as if Jennifer Lawrence...
Oh, as if she didn't go on a million auditions and probably failed as a young actor and stuff. Like, it just gives me that vibe of just like, this isn't our problem.
Yes.
And it's directly your problem. And it's so confusing to me that like... But honestly, on the other hand, are any of us surprised? Because we wouldn't even give fast food workers $15 an hour, which is not a livable wage. Like, we don't even want to do that. Yeah. And by the way, fast food workers are the most amazing, hardworking workers I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes. They put up with way more shit than they ever fucking should have to, also.
Okay. Side note, going through the McDonald's drive-thru, they have that shit down seamlessly. You are in that drive-thru for 30 seconds. You have ordered, paid, and gotten your food. Those workers deserve more money than they are making. I don't care how much they're making. And it pisses me off that CEOs who are making millions and millions of dollars, some CEOs, work hard, have the credentials and whatever, but I don't care what credentials you have. You're not working as hard as fast food workers.
No. Also,
I said it. I don't care.
Also, too, I think this raises an important conversation about the wage disparity, because there's been a lot of commentary about how what's happening right now with all of these strikes and stuff feels a lot like a new Gilded Age, where like we're seeing the rise of unions again. We're seeing a lot of unrest in terms of like workers wanting to take back the means of production and all that kind of stuff, right? And so it's just really important that we acknowledge that people who are, especially people who are billionaires, like there is not an ethical way to make that amount of money. Like there is no like, oh, well, they work a lot harder or they have a lot more on their shoulders, so they deserve that. Like, absolutely fucking not. The only way that you make that amount of money is by exploiting people and by violating people's ability to, like, because essentially what's happening is, like, under a capitalist system, we're all being coerced into selling our labor and our bodies and our times for the right to live. And people like Bob Iger, who make millions and millions and millions of dollars, are the people who are doing the exploiting, right? Like, you shouldn't have to work that hard or, like, work extra overtime or, like, this many hours in order to have the right to just fucking live and, like, be able to pay your bills, you know? Because that's the other thing. I
would say exploitation, but also nepotism.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, honestly, too, like,
sometimes.
The other thing that, like, really is fucking irritating is that I think for some people, like, that, because you were talking about earlier, like Bob Iger, the, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing. I think sometimes there is this perception that, like, of course that's what everybody wants, right? Is to be like Jennifer Lawrence rich. And, like, maybe they don't. Like, maybe these people are perfectly happy to be background actors or to take small roles and or to just make a living. And to just make a living wage that pays their bills, that allows them to live comfortably. And that's it, right? Like, that's good enough for a lot of people. And, like, why are people not able to do that? Like, in essence, this is just like a regular day job. It's just in a different industry, you know? You should be able to just exist comfortably without having to try to be Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. And I appreciate that you put it that way, because I think a lot of people think of the SAG as kind of like, oh, cry me a river. All you A-list actors who are making so much money are mad about this, this, and this. Yeah. And I think it's really important to remember that those actors, for the most part, are advocating. Yes. But they're not, it's not about them. It's about the acting world and the entertainment industry is so much bigger than what you see. You see those few people on screen, but you don't see all the hundreds of people that it takes to make a movie.
Yes.
And and I think it's really important to put it that way, of, like, remember that this strike is not for those millionaires that are getting Oscars and stuff.
Yeah. No, this is for, like, everyday people who just want to be able to survive and live comfortably.
Just want that one line role in that TV show they love or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oy. So yeah, that's my rant about the strikes and all of the stuff. Selfishly, I'm anxious and frustrated about it, but also from, like, you know, principles point of view. Obviously, I'm really riled up about it because we all know how I am.
I think it's also frustrating that this would be such an easy thing to fix.
Yes,
and the people that could fix it, but the people that can fix it are too selfish.
Yeah, they're just refusing to.
So thanks, we hate it.
Yeah, we really hate that one.
I love your shirt today.
Thank you.
That is my favorite color right now. And if you're not watching on YouTube, Mickey has, like, a periwinkle. Would you call that periwinkle? I think it's like a bright periwinkle kind of.
Yeah. It's like a very
obsessed with it.
Bright purpley periwinkle color.
Yes.
Can I just tell you, I have been in a hyperfixation with my clothes. This is another ADHD thing. I'm like very sensitive with, like, my clothes and, like, sensory stuff. I really like wearing t-shirts, but I hate feeling like things are choking me. It stresses me out. And so I wear a lot of tank tops and, like, low cut stuff. And it really is not, like, sometimes obviously I do enjoy being, like, you know, oh, I look so cute. But a lot of the times it's just because I, like, would like to function wearing the least amount of clothing humanly possible, but socially and like respectful, because I just hate it. And there's this boutique that I found that's based out of Chandler, here in Arizona, and they sell these tank tops that are, like, so stretchy and soft, and they sell them in a bunch of different colors. I love them because also I can wear them without, like, my bra straps really showing, which is rare for me.
Because that's cute as hell.
It has become my summer staple. I have one in pink. I have one in orange. I have one in a lighter, like, lilac color. I have, like, black and gray and a white one and 2 red ones. I have so many of these. I'm single-handedly keeping this boutique in business.
I am so obsessed with periwinkle right now. And I just, and that's, like, that is totally my color right now. Well, you know, speaking of wearing as little clothes as possible, I got nipple covers, like the...
Fun. Are you just going to wear them by themselves or what?
Oh, I'm never wearing a bra ever again.
Really?
I don't have big enough. I have very small titties, so why would I? The only problem The only problem is that my nipples will show if, the environment's right. My nipples will pop out, and that's embarrassing. Like, for me, I don't like that. So I have these little, like, really soft, they're like
silicone?
They do stick, but they're silicone and they stick. I'm making the, like, nipple things.
This is the shape of my nipple.
These are the shape of my nipples, but they stick on, and then you don't, but you can't feel them after that. Like, they stay on all day, and then you don't have to wear a bra with anything, and I have small enough boobs that I'm not self-conscious personally. Not that, I mean, if you had big boobs, go off, you could totally wear these.
Yeah.
But like, me personally, I have, I hate I will not wear a bra if I don't have to.
I'm so jealous.
So this is, like, the best thing ever, that it's like, now I can wear whatever, and
that's great. Can I just tell you, if it wasn't as hot here as it was, and I knew that I wouldn't have the boob sweat issue that I know I would, because it was 113 degrees here the other day. Sweat. I, even wearing a bra, have to buy, like, there's this stuff by a company called Mega Babe they call it bust dust, but it's like this little, like, dusty thing. All of the plus size influencers talk about it, but it's for your boob sweat, and I already have to use that wearing a bra. I can't even imagine how sweaty I would be without it.
Gotcha.
But if I could get away with, first of all, my boobs not wandering off without adult supervision out of a bra, and second of all,
my boobs not wandering
they do.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
My boobs enter a room like 5 minutes before I do, and so I can't just be. It's like a problem.
Like, you need a loading bar for entering a room. Because
but if I could get away with not wearing a bra, I would, because they're so uncomfortable. I hate them. They're so annoying.
I'm sorry, and I always, I always complain of that. I wish my boobs were bigger, so I do, and it's just that I take advantage of the perks of, for lack of a better word, of having small boobs.
Yeah, I think it's very much a grass is greener thing, because every person that I've ever met who does have a large bust is like pining over having smaller ones, and every person that I've ever met with a smaller bust is like pining over having big ones. So
I definitely don't want big ones. I don't think. See, I don't envy that, honestly. Like, that does sound. It sounds painful, and it sounds sweaty, and so that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wish that, like, I could fill up an A cup. Like, that would be nice. Like, if I could just, like, fill an A cup, like, I would be. Anyway, okay. Speaking of exploiting people to make millions of dollars.
Yay! Update me, Hannah.
I have some Jessie Lee Ward updates. If you guys don't know who Jessie Lee Ward is, you need to go back and listen to our Jessie Lee Ward episode, because we talked all about MLMs in an entire episode, and I'm not going to rehash it all now, because I'm just going to give you some updates on what, we talked about her her not getting chemo for her stage 4 cancer, because she is going the natural holistic route, which our conclusion basically was that that's great for you. Do whatever you want, but maybe don't promote that chemo is evil and not and doesn't work and will just kill you anyway to your 200,000 some followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, that was our take on it, basically. So anyway, okay, update number 1. Actually, most of the updates don't have to do with the cancer, interestingly enough. But update number 1, she is not getting chemo still. Last time we talked, she was like going to get another body scan or whatever, and now she's like, she claims that she's done all the research she possibly could, and that there's no chemo that she wants to do that wouldn't just kill all of the cells in her body anyway, and yada yada yada. She just thinks that it's just poison, which, to be fair, it is, but it's life-saving, and it's technically, it does kill your good cells too, but also has saved countless people's lives.
Yes.
And at least as far as recording now, she has said that she's gone months since they told her that all the doctors, and like, it's so frustrating because every time she talks about doctors, like, she hates every doctor. She's so mad at every doctor.
Okay.
And because she's like, because all they do is scare me and tell me I'm going to die, blah, blah. And it's like, they're not trying to scare you. Well, they are trying to scare you, Jessie, because they're just not telling you what you want to hear. And it makes you mad because you want them to be like, oh yeah, coffee enemas will work in place of chemo. That's what she wants. Won't. And no, they're not going to do it. They want to rattle into your brain that you are going to die if you do not get chemo. And even with chemo, she's in pretty bad shape, is what we understand from what she said of the test results. So let's talk about something else about Jessie Lee Ward, though, because unless you had thoughts on that, sorry.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so that's like where it is with the cancer, is that it's just like floating. She still says she talks about it quite a bit. It does break my heart because she had like this TikTok of her like crying after going to the doctor's office because she was like talking about how she has to write her will and everything, which is weird because she's in denial. She keeps telling everybody that she's kicked cancer's ass and that cancer's not going to take her and everything, but she is writing a will, but of course she's like, in the video, she's like, everybody should do this. Don't wait until this and this and this. And exactly. And it breaks my heart though, because you could see like she is like crying. She's in pain. Like it's just, a lot of people speculate that she's maybe in a lot more pain than she's letting on.
Probably.
Of course, that's speculation, but I don't know how you couldn't be in pain going through that. And it breaks. It's just so sad. It's just like...
Yeah, that's rough.
Girl, go fucking get chemo. It's going to be too late. There's past a point where it's too late.
Yeah.
So,
but also too, like, again, it's one thing if somebody wants to just say like, I'm foregoing chemo, I want to die with dignity, you know, like that's your business. Like that's is your right as a human being. But it's just the willful denial for me, because her telling her platform that like, this is the medical choice that I made for me. Right. And like, I'm not saying that anyone else should make this. I think there's still a case to be made about how doctors. The behavior that we model is like still important for us to be mindful of as influencers. But like, especially about something that's as big as the way that you want to die, like that's her prerogative. But she's just actively denying that chemo is helpful, is life-saving, that like she's not going to die to all of her followers is so irresponsible. Ooh, that makes me so mad.
Comments on her TikToks of people also saying like, oh yeah, I'm looking into this stuff too, or I was just diagnosed too. And there are people, this is affecting people. She's going to get someone killed.
Oh and my God, like, that makes me so mad.
It's unbelievably upsetting. It would be very different if she was saying, hey, I'm not going that route, but that's just me. Do not make a decision based on what I'm doing and my body. I still want to share my journey, but go to your doctor and talk to them.
Yeah. My God.
Let's go on to different updates. Okay. So she recently went on this podcast. She goes on a lot of podcasts and interviews and stuff for people that are fans of her. And she went on this podcast specifically to talk about her relationship with her boyfriend and why they're the perfect example of love and relationships, and why they are the epitome and like giving relationship advice to all their followers. So if you don't know the story behind her boyfriend, his name's Avi. He is sitting in this interview, and she likes to live stream while she's being interviewed. She'll live stream the podcast she's being interviewed on Facebook. So I don't know if that's weird. What it was, or if they were recording the podcast, but he never wants to be on camera. He will, but he'll try to avoid the camera as much as possible because her boyfriend is married and has 3 children.
Sorry, roll that back. He's currently fucking married?
As far as we know, as allegedly, based on the evidence, again, this is from people that call this a fact, but that yes, he is still married and he won't get a divorce. Yes.
Is he just estranged from his wife then?
No. He cheated on his wife with Jessie, allegedly. This is all alleged, even though I believe it. It is technically alleged. But no.
But are he Jessie and his wife separated then?
Let me just, yeah.
Okay,
it's
sorry.
Really ugly. Okay,
I'll be patient.
No, that's
Please
okay. No, that's okay. I know. It's like really upsetting. They've been together less than a year. It's been like, I think 10 months or something like that. And they're on this podcast talking about giving people relationship advice and communication advice and how they're just so in love and they're the epitome of perfect relationships. Meanwhile, it's important to mention Erin, Bies, and Julie Jo are they're pretty small YouTubers, so I don't know if they get recommended out to people, but they deserve more recognition because they're great YouTubers. They're also anti-MLM YouTubers, and Erin Bies used to be in Jessie Lee Ward's downline. They were very close.
Oh,
Erin
no.
B used to be very close with Jessie Lee, and she escaped the cult, as she puts it, I believe.
Wow.
But she used to be like one of Jessie Lee Ward's right-hand mans. And they had a falling out because she decided to leave MLMs, and now she makes anti-MLM content, and Jessie is, of course, how she is about that.
Yeah.
So they live stream. Julie, Jo, and Erin are friends. They're both anti-MLM YouTubers, and they were live streaming to talk about this interview that she did on this podcast about it. So that's how we get it. But they were raising money for, I know it's so confusing, for her boyfriend with the wife and kids.
Okay.
So Jessie Lee Ward's boyfriend that is married with the kids, right?
Yes.
So these anti-MLM YouTubers I was just talking about, they were live streaming to raise money for his wife. She has a GoFundMe set up because they're like Orthodox Jew. If not, they're like very, very, very serious Jewish religion, right? Uh-huh. I know it's so messy. Stop me if you get confused. But he will not. So they were trying to get separated, but he will not like do the ceremony that is in Jewish culture to get divorced and to get separated officially. Like they set up the date and she showed up. Allegedly, he just bailed and just didn't show up. So he has no respect for her. He won't do anything that she's trying. And the speculation, I'm sorry, do you need a second?
Hold on. Okay. So I'm aware that in the practice of Orthodox Judaism, there is like,
I forget.
There's like a specific series of events. I am not at all versed in like the details. I forgot
what it's called.
Yeah, but there is a specific series of events that are supposed to take place in order for like a divorce or separation or something to be like legitimate, right? Can we fact check though? Like because obviously like that's important from a cultural point of view, from a religious point of view, but does that prevent the wife from legally filing for divorce? Or is it just like I'm so confused? Because I'm just curious about the degree to which he's holding her hostage in this relationship.
A divorce document is a document in Jewish religious law which effectuates a divorce between a Jewish couple. The term is also used to refer to the divorce itself. The requirements for a get include that the document be presented by a husband to his wife. The essential part of the get is a very short declaration. You are hereby permitted to all men. We won't get into that. But the effect of the get is to free the woman from the marriage, and consequently she is free to marry another, and the laws of adultery no longer apply. The get also returns the wife the legal rights that the husband held in regard to her. So again, this is like Orthodox. This is very God,
but still, like that's so
strict.
Fucked up.
So he's just disrespecting any of their customs, though, to free her of this.
But also, if he's the one who's being in their set up, like he's the one who's being an adulterer and like clearly does not want to be in this relationship.
Allegedly.
Why won't you fucking but I mean, just like according to Jewish law though, like having romantic relationship with someone while he's still married in like the Jewish Orthodox Church, that's adultery. Like that's a sin. Not in the legal sense, but I mean like from their religious point of view. If you're the one who's violating that marriage norm within your culture, you don't want to be here, so why not just leave then? That feels like a power thing.
So the GoFundMe says, help mom of 3 stand on her feet. She's raised $10,500 so far.
Whoa.
That's great. That's nothing for what she probably needs because I don't think he's helping out. But she said, so the GoFundMe says, hi, we're a group of moms from Los Angeles reaching out to help a friend mom from our community because we are worried she's about to collapse in the unfortunate situation she was forced into. This beautiful, strong mom discovered last February that her husband is living with another woman for over 9 months. He lied to her and he's building a new life for her. He lied to her. He is building a new life for her, his wife, and their children. I think he was saying that he was building a life for them somewhere, and all the while he was doing that, he was actually with her. We are following this story since the other woman is a public figure that knows the delicate situation of her boyfriend, that he's married and a father of 3 little kids who are 7, 5, and 2, and yet continues to publish on social media her affair with the husband of our dear friend. This mom stood up on her feet, I think they meant feet, and started a new job. But the struggle of raising kids by herself, working, dealing with the social media humiliation, and standing up for her rights in court is too much to handle. The husband is not paying child support or contributing in any way to help the household. Her husband is, I guess I have to say allegedly, but they're saying is abusing her emotionally and financially. We are asking for financial support for her so she will be able to get back on her feet in the coming months and raise her 3 beautiful children. She is worried she won't be able to pay rent, bills, food, diapers, and give the children what they need. We see her every day dropping the kids at school, taking part in activities, having play dates, working long hours, and doing her best to keep her head up, but we see her cry every night. There's no resources or family near her to help. While the husband has a big family and a wealthy new girlfriend that can support the court costs. So they're saying like, she'll get him lawyers and stuff if he needs it. We need to help this mom and her kids to get through the process and give them hope since evil came to their home. So reading the GoFundMe, it does allegedly sound like he is not paying child support and that he's being just pretty shitty. So they went on this podcast together, him and Jessie Lee, and sat down, and this girl was, I don't think the podcaster knew about the situation or is just a stan of Jessie Lee, so didn't care. Fair. I have no idea. But they're just like talking about how like, you just gotta love and like blah, blah. The whole podcast is sickening. They're like holding hands the whole time. She keeps calling the kids like she's alluded to them being her stepchildren. It's gross. Yeah, it's like really weird. It's so weird. Yeah, my heart just breaks for the kids because I can't imagine the kids are happy about this. But she like talks about how they're gonna get married and how they're all going to live together and they're going to be her kids and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's weird. It's like evil stepmommy vibes. Yeah. She hasn't said that out overtly, but you know what I mean? Like, she says things like that. Like, she alludes to that kind of stuff. And then if you just watch her lives, it's just like the weird jabs that she makes. Like, she knows that this is humiliating for the wife. And it's like she has to rub it in her face. It's like she makes these very small passive-aggressive comments about, like, just kind of a nanner. I stole your husband. Like, it's weird. And my understanding is that he was an Uber driver and that he picked her up from the airport and that's how they met. That it was like a side gig for him. So he was not making that much money, and do with that what you will. So yeah. Okay, that's not even the last update. I have one more update for you. So Jessie Lee, like, that's a mess. If you guys want to donate to the GoFundMe, if anybody's really invested in this, like, it feels pretty far removed from us, but I will still link the GoFundMe down below if you want. Julie, Jo, and Erin Bies have said that they've talked to the family and confirmed that the GoFundMe is legit and everything. Yeah, and I'll link their channels down below too because they're great. So anyway, okay, so the last update then too, this happened just this week. This is the funniest thing that's ever happened in my life. I'm so happy that this happened. Jessie Lee Ward went on another podcast. Have you ever heard of The Dream podcast?
No.
Okay, the podcast, apparently, sorry. The host is named Jane Marie, I believe. She's won an Emmy and she's won a Peabody Award for her journalism. And she has a podcast called The Dream, and it gets like 1 million downloads a month, right? This is a huge podcast.
Must be nice.
They asked Jessie Lee if she would come on and be interviewed for this podcast.
Oh, no.
This is an anti-MLM podcast.
Did she say yes?
And she said yes and didn't figure it out until halfway through the podcast.
What? Oh my God.
I've watched both Erin and Julie respond to this because, okay, so like I said, Erin Bies knows Jessie Lee Ward in person.
Yeah.
And halfway through the interview, so she does say, so like, yeah, I've written my book's coming out soon. I can send you a copy if you want. And like, yeah, you know, I've talked on this channel about like the anti-MLM side of things a lot. Like she says it very nice. This woman is a A+ professional. She was so nice to Jessie Lee the whole time. And you can see Jessie Lee goes from thinking that this is another fan of hers because she thinks everybody wants to lick her butt. She thinks everybody loves her. And she goes from like, and then her face just like, on the realization. And we see it because she's live streaming. She's recording this person interviewing her, live streaming it on Facebook Live while she's doing it, which whether it's legal in her state or not, that's so disrespectful to do without letting her know. Because yes, Jane Marie has said, no, I didn't know that she was recording me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, that's legal in some places, but it's just so rude, like, to not tell somebody that.
Also, that's so awkward. What the hell?
And then she, like, reveals halfway through. She's like, yeah, well, I've talked to Erin Bies. She says it casually, yeah, I've talked to Erin Bies. And Jessie Lee goes, well, was Jessie Lee on the Columbia trip? Because you remember the Columbia trip. She asked her about the Columbia trip. You guys have to go watch this live stream if you want to, because, and you could find it on their channels, because it is so fucking epic that she confronts her about Columbia. She's doing all this from an anti-MLM perspective, and Jessie doesn't realize it until halfway through. And everybody's like, well, somebody's getting fired, because her assistant probably set her up for that interview.
Does she say that, or just like her face is kind of giving that vibe?
No, okay. She didn't say that, but we just think somebody's in trouble because Jessie Lee just went on an interview, and I'm sure her team was the one that set it up. And I'm sorry, but you just got caught red-handed in your hypocrisy, Jessie Lee, because she goes on and on about how Erin B makes all of her living off of making hate videos about her. That is almost verbatim what she said in the podcast to her. And Erin B just makes her living off of hate videos. She gets views from my face, yada, yada, yada. Erin B, by the way, reacts to this so maturely. And she's so, like, she just tells her side of the story, but she's so calm, always wishes her well and everything. She's so much more mature. And Jessie Lee always accuses anybody who makes a video on her internet. If she saw our video, she would say that about us, is that, well, we don't know the full story. That's her answer to anybody who accuses her of being of ruining a family. Is she's like, well, you have no idea what's going on. You don't know the whole rest half of the story. So shut up, because you don't know. Or us making this video, she's like, you didn't do your research. Anybody who says anything about Columbia, you didn't do your research. You weren't on the trip, so you don't know, yada, yada, yada. This is all... Jessie, this is all shit that came out of your mouth. There's recordings of you talking about the Columbia trip, how torturous it was, and how hard it was. And it wasn't until the backlash that you deleted that and then pretended like you never said it. There's recording of this. And then she has the audacity to get mad that she ended up on a podcast when she didn't do the research. I Googled the Dream podcast. The first thing that comes up is that they are that they talk about anti-MLMs.
Oh, wow.
The first thing that comes up. They couldn't even Google the podcast she was going to be on. And
apparently not.
Okay. Mickey. And then after the show, so they hang up. They only talk for like a half hour. The second they hang up, she starts talking to her live stream, because her live stream is just fans of her, right? Of just people that suck up to Jessie Lee. And she's like, oh my God, they obviously didn't do any research on me. And then she just acted like she was just trying to make me look bad. She was so mad. You could tell she was so mad, but she was trying to pretend like she wasn't. You know when somebody's embarrassed, but they're trying to pretend like they're not. The whole thing was such... Oh man, Jane Marie got some real good footage for her season of The Dream, though. The first line on Google says they're an anti-MLM podcast. Her assistant, because she did ask, I'm sorry, I'm going so fast, you guys, I'm getting so excited. She asks after they hang up, her assistant was in the background, and she asked, she was like, what did they present that podcast as? And she was like, oh, their team just said, like, it was about, like, she just blows over it, you know? And it probably because she doesn't want to get in trouble for the fact, but it's like, you're an assistant and you didn't Google a podcast?
Apparently not.
One of the biggest podcasts, and then said that she tells the host in it that, like, well, you've been manipulated by some bad journalism, because all Erin B does is bad journalism and stuff. And it's like, Erin Bies literally only reacts to recordings of things that you have said. What are you talking about?
Also, too, this is just like straight out of the like Girl Defined and like the Teal Swan and like other like conservative conspiracy theorist handbook of like, oh, these people just like are so obsessed with me. They just hate me. And like, no, people are making commentary about your very problematic and like not publicly supported decisions because you did that. Like also too, like you don't get to share your life publicly on the internet and make money off of that and then throw a fit anytime that somebody publicly talks about you. Like that's the nature of the beast, babe. That's how it works.
Expect everybody to just like fall at your feet and feed you grapes with the skin off and fan you. Like the fact, and it's just like Jessie will take any opportunity to brag about how rich she is. She takes every single opportunity. She's like, oh, yeah, well, I used to want to live, and I used to live in the big house and have the 5 cars and own a car dealership. Well, I still own the car dealership, but that's neither here nor there. And now I told boyfriend, like, I'm just happy with the penthouse. Like, I just want the penthouse. And yeah, it's got like all soundproof walls, so I am living in my own little world. Like, she goes on about that, pretending like with this like faux humbleism where it's like she's literally just bragging about how rich she is, and it's like so
that's weird.
So like the way that she boasts is very similar to the way Trump brags about things that he does, where he's just like, oh, I'm so fantastic. And like in this, she's like, yeah, well, I'm kicking cancer's ass, yada, yada, yada. Even though like she just lies and lies and lies and lies. Yeah, and it's so fascinating to me.
Wow. I'm just like, I don't even know how to wrap my head around all of those updates because they all are like not related, but they are at the same time. No, you're fine. God, she sounds unwell.
Unhinged.
Wow.
Like, it's just wild to me that there's direct, or it's very much Colleen Ballinger, where there's direct contradictions.
Yes. But I didn't do that.
She
don't get mad at me.
Like they don't exist.
You guys are so toxic for being upset about the decisions that I made publicly.
There's actual footage of her talking about the Colombia trip and how bad it was and how she didn't prepare people and how she tricked people. She actually says the word, yeah, I tricked him, and then I tricked him again, and then I tricked him a little more, and I was like, we were 2 hours in, and I was like, oh my God, we had 15 hours left on this hike, and this person doesn't have their diabetes medicine. She actually says that in the live stream that she was talking about Colombia. We have 15 hours left. She actually talks about how she tricked them. And then after that's deleted, she goes back and then she's like, you weren't there. You don't know the waivers we signed. We don't know how, blah, blah, blah. You don't know that whole hike wasn't on hills, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's wild. That's it. Okay.
Very, very
I'm done.
tangled.
I gotta stop. I'm so riled up.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with me, Hannah.
You're welcome. For anybody that wanted Jessie Ward
that was intense.
Okay, we should probably wrap it up. We've been talking for an hour and a half. Let's stop. We have another episode to record.
We sure do. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you
Thank you guys
made it to the end, we appreciate you very much.
Yes. Please like the podcast on YouTube.
Leave us 5-star reviews if you like it.
Yay. And all the other things.
And we will see you next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, bye.